Get that started as a few more people are trickling in.
Okay, perfect. So you all tell us, everyone, what is going to be the highlight of this summer?
Ooh, ice cream,
Warm weather. I know I said it's just sun. More sun.
relaxation. Yeah. Oh, Eunice, where are you heading? Traveling's always fun. The extra time. And yes, our BrightBee team is looking forward to finally seeing each other in person. We sometimes only get together in person once or twice a year since we are all remote across the US. Ooh, Lori, I agree with you. Outdoor concerts, especially in the California Bay Area, we have a lot of opportunities for outdoor music. Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here. I think people will still be trickling in. Some, and especially in California, are still coming off of their assignments as the school year is still in session in the West Coast. And just welcome you all to our BrightBee Town Hall. We started this, I think, about a year ago, and wanted to just kind of provide an opportunity for you to interact directly with BrightBee leadership, get your questions asked, get a sneak peek of information that's going to go out to the rest of the bees, and appreciate you taking the time to meet with us live. And so, I'll introduce myself first. For those of you that I have not met personally, my name is Alisha Frausto, and I serve as the Director of Bee Experience. And I've been fortunate to be around since BrightBee started in fall of 2023 and excited to share how much we've grown and some of the things that are on the horizon. And I'll pass it off to our CBO himself.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael Lombardo. I'm the founder and CEO of BrightBee. I've been working on this project now for close to 3 years. And it's so exciting to watch all of the growth, to have so many amazing people be a part of what we're building, and really excited for today's conversation. And I will pass it to Chris.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Chris Ballig. Nice to see some of you again, meet some of you for the first time. I'm our Chief Operations Officer. And again, it's great when we all get to come together. So wonderful to see you all. And I'll hand it over to Brennan, who most of you probably know.
Hi, I'm Brennan. Nice to be with you all. Most of you know me. If you don't, I work on the bee support team, a little bit behind the scenes with the rest of my team, and we just love helping you all out and getting you on assignments. And if Esteban is on, he can take the mic.
And he won't be because he is joining us from Argentina. And so we
Oh, okay.
pre-recorded some information from him to share a little representation from a behind the scenes look, what goes on in the app and how it gets built. So thank you all for being here. Our agenda today is going to go in pretty much that order as well. Michael's going to kick us off with State of the Hive, highlights, celebrations from the year, some stats to share since the last time we met. And then Chris is going to share a little bit more about pay and our new exciting seniority structure. And then we'll pass it to Brennan for some information around independent contractor renewals and some of the steps you might need to take in order to be eligible to take assignments starting July 1st. And then I'll close us with a little sneak preview at some of the technology updates that are going to be launching soon. And then, like always, one of our favorite parts is a live Q&A session. So if you have questions, you're welcome to use the chat throughout. We might answer a few of them as we're going, but if not, save them for the end and raise your hand, unmute, and we'd love to hear those questions and celebrations. And if you stick around to the end, we do have a raffle for some Amazon gift cards. So thank you, everyone, for taking an hour out of your day to join us. And so we kind of started it, but we heard more about summer. Why don't we take a moment to introduce ourselves one more time and share which part of the country you're joining from and the number of assignments that you currently have. And if you're not sure, you can check your bee dashboard at app.brightbee.org. So take a moment in the chat to introduce yourself, share which hive, and approximately how many assignments you have. And no shame if it is 0 and you're just getting started. There we go. Ooh, Primrose, it's already up to that. 3 digits. Yeah, John, welcome. Thank you, Jasmine. Both Jasmines. Lori, good to see you. Maria also joining from San Jose. Thanks, Lalitha. Awesome. Well, keep threading those in the chat. We'll see who is in the room, and it's fun to see everybody from both coasts all across our hives. And so I'm going to pass the mic over to Michael to share some celebrations, and I will play driver for my team. So if you just tell me next, then I will press the next slide.
Thank you. And they told me my audio wasn't coming through very well, so I put my earbuds in the hopes that that will help. But like I said earlier, it's such a wonderful experience kind of building together with all of you. Sometimes companies talk about having a dual bottom line, but we actually have a triple bottom line at BrightBee. So obviously we're a technology company, and we care about being financially successful and sustainable. We have a mission to support schools and to help them have the environment and all the supports they need to do a great job for students. And then all of you are part of our mission. We agreed from the very beginning of BrightBee in the very first days that we were all about helping bees to prosper and grow. And that may look like earning more money and taking more assignments. That might look like unlocking new kinds of assignments by increasing your qualifications. It might mean getting to work at a new school or location that you never worked at before. But we really want you to feel like your experience with us is one of growth. And as BrightBee is growing as a company, you as bees are growing too. Next, please. This is a graph of all the assignments that have been done by every bee since we started back in October of 2023. As you can see, the growth has been really tremendous. You can see the little peaks and valleys. Those valleys are usually summer. I know you have a lot of questions about that. We did about 28,000 assignments this school year so far. And we've done about 40,000 since we got started, which is pretty exciting. And we are furiously working right now, signing new contracts with new folks, with new school systems and childcare providers to be able to continue that growth, both into new hives and new geographies. We're expanding a lot in Ohio. We've got our first contract moving in New Mexico. If anyone wants to move to Santa Fe, by the way, it's a beautiful town. But we're also working really hard to add new partners in the parts of the US that we already serve. We've got some great new things in the works for Los Angeles, for the Bay Area, for Detroit. I mentioned Ohio. So there's a whole team that we call the BGs who are working every day to try to find new schools and new types of assignments and to expand our hives into new parts of the country. You can hit the next slide, Alisha. There you can see that here's a map of all of the different locations that we serve. We just launched our first customer. I should have caught this, Alisha. We're in 8 states. We have a customer in Kansas now. I know, exciting. Placements product, but still, it counts. We've got over 1,000 bees who've been through our wonderful process that Chris and her team lead. Right now, we consider bees active if they've taken an assignment in the last 60 days. So that's about 300 people. We have over 50 partners, and our core team has been growing too. So the folks that kind of work behind the scenes to make BrightBee happen, it's almost 30 people now. So really, really exciting. Again, thinking back to when Alisha and Zach and I, the kind of first 3, were getting started in 2023. And then this is our why, is hearing from you. And thank you, by the way, to those of you I know we're annoying sometimes about sending all these surveys out, but it's really important to us both to hear your feedback so we can continually improve the experience. But like, this is how we measure our success, is how our bees are feeling about their experience. And, we're humbled that so many people have such a positive experience with us. But we want to unpack that too. We want to know, are you earning more money? Are you finding new kinds of work? Do you feel more professional satisfaction? And that's, like I said, that's our mission. And so it's really exciting to see that not just people overwhelmingly agree, but if you look, the darker ones are when people said they strongly agree. And so I love seeing people saying, like, over half of you saying, I strongly agree that I feel happier about the work I'm doing. Like, that just, warms our hearts. It's really, really important to us to hear that feedback. And then we also get feedback from the schools. So just as you guys get surveys, they get surveys too. And shout out to Alisha, who had the good idea to ask them to kind of give some feedback about specific bees. You guys have gotten some of that, hopefully, where we've heard good things about you. We passed it along. But you can see the schools think really highly of you too. And they're also extremely satisfied with their experience. They give you really high ratings in terms of the quality of the work that you're doing. And when we ask them about, like, what's the difference we're making? Does the school climate feel improved? Are are the other workers at the school, are they kind of like have better morale? They don't feel stretched so thin. Is the principal better able to do his or her job because they're not covering for a sped para who's out for the day? And again, overwhelmingly, they tell us, yes, you are making a difference. You are helping that school run better. You're improving the climate. You're helping students be better supervised and supported. And I hope that's a part of your why, because we care a lot about that. I think I have one more slide. Yeah, so along with growing our hives, we are also growing how we work with school systems. And I'll bet many of you have had this experience where when we started BrightBee, we thought we were dealing with what we call absences, like someone calls out sick, or a position turns over, and it's going to take them a few weeks to hire a new person, or someone like goes on leave. But we saw so many very long-term assignments, schools coming in and posting assignments that lasted for weeks, or months even, or whole school years. And we came to realize that there are really two problems we were working on. There was a problem called absences that was kind of short-term. And then there was a problem called vacancies, which is they just don't have a person. It's not that you're filling in for somebody who's out sick, it's that they just can't find somebody. And when we had that insight, we realized that we could do a better job being a partner to schools by helping them solve both of those problems. And so we sort of evolved and we said, we don't just do one thing, which is the kind of substitute sort of helping them with short-term needs. We now call that coverage. We said, let's deal with those vacancies too. And we do that in two ways. We now take that amazing team that I mentioned, that Chris's team, who does all the recruiting and background checks and clearances and all the things to get bees into our hives. And let's like rent that out to school systems and say, we can just hire people for you. And if you're having a hard time hiring bus drivers, like we'll just go hire you 10 bus drivers. And that product has been really popular and it's taken off really quickly because it was the case that, like I said, it's not that bees were going out to fill in, it was that they just didn't have enough people. And so we could help them with that. And then hosted workforce is where we work with them to fill the position, but we hire the person and that person stays on our payroll. And usually that's better for them from a budget standpoint. Sometimes, particularly in states like California, where there's really complex labor politics, it's easier from a labor agreement standpoint. And so we said, we can also go and bring somebody in who's basically a bee on permanent assignment. They stay on our payroll, they're still a part of our hive, but they're filling that vacancy for you for the whole school year. And that has also had a lot of traction in our early days with it. So what that means for you is you'll start to see some new kinds of assignments in the app, and they behave a little differently. The key thing to know about hosted workforce is it's generally going to pay a little bit less than coverage, but that's because you're locking in this assignment for like the whole year. And with coverage assignments, the school can cancel them with up to 24 hours notice. That's probably happened to some of you. With hosted workforce, they can't do that. They are going to pay you if they need you or not. And so you're kind of getting a little more certainty, and in exchange, you're getting paid slightly less than when you do coverage assignments. And then with placements, you'll see us starting to run campaigns where we are looking for people who want to fill these jobs, who might already be bees. And so maybe you've been having a great experience doing, operational work in the cafeteria, but we need a custodian for another school, and that could be a good fit for you. And so you'll see us starting to kind of come to you and give you opportunities to go kind of in-house to a school system and take a job permanently with them. And so as is always the case with BrightBee, you are in the driver's seat. You will have the opportunity to say yes or no. And But we hope that this will not only help us be a better partner to schools and help them solve their problems, but it'll give you more diversity in terms of the types of assignments and work you can do. And you can choose to lock in that hosted workforce for the entire year, or you can say, I'd like to set my own schedule every week and keep doing coverage. And those are both totally options for you. I think that's the end of my slides. I'm going to hand it off to Chris.
All right, thanks, Michael. Certainly exciting to see like all the growth that's occurred. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our new seniority structure. Again, it's part of our looking to the future. So this really is something that we are introducing that will impact pay rate and how that's calculated, as well as our customer billing changes in this upcoming year, so effective July 1st. And I would say that as an organization, one of the main balancing acts we're doing is trying to ensure that partners find us competitively priced and that Bs find that we have competitive pay, right? Like we're trying to balance those two things. On the partner side, we are not aiming to be the lowest price provider on the market. We believe and have seen proof and heard feedback from many of our customers that they're willing to pay more to work with us because we provide high quality Bs that are experienced and enthusiastic about working in schools and other youth focused organizations. And that is what allows us to recruit such high quality folks, such as all of you. We focus on a competitive pay rate that you get from day one, but also the milestones that you all are familiar with. So this ability to increase your earnings potential as you complete a growing number of assignments. And so Alisha, if you can go to the next slide, we'll do a quick retrospective on how BPay and partner billing have evolved since BrightBee launched. All of these changes have been influenced by either customer feedback, so our school and youth serving partners, as well as B feedback, and then our own market analysis, right? We're looking at wages and all kinds of things about the hives that we operate in to make sure that, again, we're competitive. So in 23-24, we started with a very basic model, basically a half and a full day assignment, pay rate that only varied by the type of role, so operations versus paraprofessional. No set pay rate increases, but Bs earned a $100 bonus for every 15 assignments they completed. In 24 and 25, we got a little bit more complex with different shift times, and that's where we introduced the milestone bonuses that you all know today. Very well received. Bees loved it. That's something that we consistently get a lot of great feedback on. And then in this year, we went to a much more flexible hourly pay invoice structure, which was very well received by our customers. And then we retained that same milestone structure that we had introduced in the year before. So as we talk about our 26-27 changes, so again, those are things that will be effective on July 1st, I'll highlight a couple of key pieces of feedback and factors that we thought about when we were mapping out next year. So we found that system-wide, our base pay rates are still very competitive with the market. We've also found that our milestone structure provides one of the most generous pay increase opportunities of similar staffing providers or even working directly with the partners we have. Again, those increases very well received and very generous compared to what else is out there. For some of you who are familiar with our multi-day fee, so for partners who post assignments that are multiple days long and want a consistent B in that assignment, we assess them a fee, a per day fee on top of that. And partners don't love that. And we often find that they change their assignment posting behavior to avoid that fee. And so that's just something that we get a lot of feedback from them about. We've also noticed that our benefits for tenure for Bs are focused exclusively on wage increases. There isn't much around what you get or how you're framed within the app as a B who's been with us for a long time. And then the last point is that our model is static. So pay rates are influenced by the Hive that the role is in, the job title, the B seniority, so where someone's at in the milestone pathway, and then the duration of the assignment, meaning how many hours per day. So taking all of those things into account, if we go to the next slide, Alisha, we're going to look at where we're going for the 26-27 year. It's a much more comprehensive seniority structure, one that actually designates Bs by title according to the number of assignments that you've completed. So the title will be visible to partners within the app, as well as yourself and the B support team. And in addition to a multiplier or a bump in the base pay rate, there'll be additional perks and benefits that are associated with it. I'll tell you right now, we don't have that full thing mapped out yet. That's a huge part of what Alisha will be tackling in the next few months. So you can fully anticipate some more opportunities for us to ask and for you to share with us things that would be meaningful to you to be associated with these different titles. If you have an eye for detail, you'll notice that the titles and the tiers here don't align to the milestone structure that we've used in the past. Do not fear, these new percentage progressions will be used for bees who join us after July 1st. So the titles and the other perks will be consistently applied across all of our bees using the laddering. So for example, with your 50th assignment, you'll be identified as a specialist bee with all of the benefits that come with that. Your 400th assignment, you'll be a super bee with those benefits. The percentage bump that's applied to the base pay rate will be different for bees depending on when they joined us. And so because we're going to have more of a mixed bag of what bees percentages look like, we won't talk often about what the specific percentages are or show that kind of standard image in the monthly meetings that we do, our communications, because again, it's going to be a bit more unique to each bee. But again, if you're with us here today, the prior milestones apply, with one exception, and that is that we will now cap at the highest kind of milestone you can achieve at the 30% bump mark. And so there are a very small number of bees, less than 2%, who currently are at a milestone that is greater than 30%. We used to go up to 40%, and those folks will have a decrease down to 30%. Not that those folks aren't important, but there's less than 20 of them, so it's a small population. And each one of those people will hear directly from us and the bee support team within the next 2 to 3 weeks to review the specific changes and make sure you understand what's happening. And again, I would just say that our analysis found that even at the 30% level, we are still well above what market rates are. So we think it's more than fair and something that's able to help BrightBee grow and be sustainable going forward. Alisha, on that next slide. So in addition to the seniority changes, we're going to see some other things. And that's that there may actually be increases to base pay rate for high priority assignments. We love all of our customers. We think every assignment is important. But to be honest, there are some that are particularly critical for us. And so that's if we launch a brand new partner, if we have a partner who, a bee was sick and had a cancellation an hour ahead of the start time. Those are examples of times when those assignments are priorities for us to get filled. And so as the app becomes more dynamic, you might see some assignments have kind of a higher rate than you might have noticed earlier in the week because it's a situation like that. And so that more dynamic pricing will come into play over the course of this year. We will retain the share, you all will retain the share of the bee specific request fee. So if a site requests you by name, there's an extra fee associated with that for them. You all get part of that fee, just like you do today. And then as I referenced, the multi-day fee has been a real dissatisfier with our customers. So we're eliminating that completely. And so if you had seen kind of a share of that in this past year, that's not something that will exist going forward. And then just noting, because of the growing complexity of the calculation, today within the app, you can see kind of the formula of how the total amount is calculated. And that formula will no longer be displayed, again, just due to the complexity of the calculation. But you will absolutely always see the amount that assignment pays. And as noted, because there's dynamic variables at play, you may begin saying pay rates change over time. And so if you look at an assignment in the morning and see one amount, 2 hours later, it might look a little bit higher, it might look a little bit lower. The critical thing is once you claim and are approved, that pay rate will not change. So whatever you're claiming it is, that's the amount that you'll get paid. So there's full transparency into what you are earning for working a particular assignment. And I think on that next slide then, Alisha. So in terms of the seniority, all of the assignments that you've done to date, I know everyone kind of reported and shared in the comment threads how many they had, and there's some really impressive numbers there. Those will all roll over into the next year. So that counts towards your seniority total as well as your milestone bump. You will see within the next few weeks an actual tag within your BrightBee profile in the app, which will identify your seniority level. So we've had the newbie tag for a couple of months now. We'll have a tag for all of our different titles, and that's just kind of like a badge that you get to display what level you're at. And then just reiterating that we take BPay very seriously because, as Michael mentioned, you all are part of our mission. And if we don't have happy bees to stick around, then we're going to have a hard time filling assignments and meeting our partners' needs. So we are confident that pay is still very highly competitive. We still have those milestone bumps that allows you to earn as you grow with us, and just very excited to have you all come work over the summer where we have that summer work and join us over in the next year. And so I think with that, I will hand it over to Brennan, who will talk about what y'all need to do to make sure you're ready to go starting on July 1st.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So, on behalf of the support team, and that will be my one and only pun for the day, we want to thank you for all that you do in behalf of BrightBee. But we do want to remind you that the school year is coming to an end, which means your contracts are also coming to an end. So, all of you are eligible for work through June 30th of this year. However, you will have to sign a new contract. You don't have to reapply or interview. We already know how great you are, but we do need to get a new contract on file. So we will send them via email through a Dropbox link by this Friday or before. And in order to receive it, you would have had to perform an assignment as of this calendar year, January 1st, 2026. You have to make sure that you didn't have any code of conduct violations, with partners or something that was unexplainable, and then also be in good standing with our company. If you've done those three things, then we'll go ahead and send that out to you. We can go to the next slide. So in order to continue to take work, whether it be this summer, which there's a lot of questions, or coming August, September, October, make sure that you sign that document that comes via email through the DocuSign. You'll go ahead and do it electronically. You can sign the Independent Contractor Agreement to renew yourself for work this year. There's also going to be a code of conduct form that you'll fill out. And then you perhaps may remember that we have a W-9 form that you'll fill out. This year, we've partnered with a new company called Avalara, and they will also send you a supplementary email that you'll go ahead and complete. And as usual, if there's any qualifications, certifications, whatever it may be in order to perform the functions of the jobs within your school, make sure you send us updated documentation for that as well. We can go to the next slide. And then if you're curious about what you do need to send or what you don't need to send, you can always check your B profile. You'll get reminders 1 month, every 14 days, 1 week prior, and then you may even get a personalized message from a member of our team just to ensure that you can continue to take assignments. Please be sure to send any documents that you need or that you have to B support or one of the other emails, and we'll make sure that it gets posted to your account so you can continue to claim assignments. And as you may have noticed, as the app gets progressively better, there's opportunities that are still available. So you may look and see that there's a qualified button or an unqualified button, or you may try to claim something and it tells you that you can't for X, Y, and Z. Try to identify what it is that you can do in order to meet the criteria that's required to claim an assignment. Perhaps you're working as a cleaner or in food support, and maybe you'd like to work as a teacher's assistant or a paraprofessional or whatever the case may be. Each state, each region, each hive has different distinctions that are required in order to do so. If you meet the criteria or you would like to meet the criteria, please contact B Support and we can help you identify how to do so. And then lastly, we're on from essentially 6 a.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Pacific. So if you have any needs or you want assistance, any of these individuals, myself, Lisa, Haley, Bethany, Tia, and an array of other people are ready to help. And so try to play your part and problem solve within the app. But if you need assistance, we are here to help. So the big question, summer work. So that is the big question. Our sales team is working around the clock. So like we said, beef support work 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific. Our sales team is doing the exact same thing. We are trying to get as many assignments as humanly possible so that you all can work as much as possible. We want to keep our bees buzzing. So continue to check the app daily. We know that the highest traffic hours are 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and after 8 p.m. Continue to check the app. And the most important thing you can also do is fill out your availability survey, whether it's through the Google link or it's within the app. And as those opportunities become available, whoever identified that they are willing to work and can work, those are where we're going to start. And so we are working hard. Be willing to take different roles. Maybe you're accustomed to being a classroom sub, or you pride yourself in being a paraprofessional. We love that. But there's times where we need to stack books, or we need to clean cafeterias, or we need to sweep the outdoor entrance. Whatever it may be, there's work to be done at schools. You just have to make yourself available and be willing to do so. And as work becomes available, we'll let you know. But ultimately, please continue to check the app for the most up-to-date opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Brennan. And just to note, I think there were two bee puns in there. I heard a buzzing somewhere in the end, so it's just part of our nature now. We can't hold it back. And so just to kind of culminate this enthusiasm for what to expect for next year, we want to see you back. We want you to get those independent contractor agreements ready so that you can join us in seeing the unveiling of our official mobile app. And so, as Michael talked about from the very, very beginning of BrightBee, when we started with 3 schools and 9 bees, Michael, Zach, and I trying to bring some people on board for this crazy idea, we knew we needed to design an app for multiple users. Just like we talked about on the mission slide of different stakeholders, we knew that our bees were going to need something that was mobile friendly so that you could quickly swipe and scroll and claim an assignment, see what work is for today or tomorrow, and be able to check in and check out on assignment. That said, our school administrators typically are in a little bit more of a traditional workplace. So they're going to be working from a laptop. They want to be able to quickly post the assignment with the essential details that you'll claim it. And they want to get notified when the bee has been matched. And like the screen you just saw with those friendly smiling faces, our bee support team is kind of overseeing the operations with 200 plus assignments a day with everybody buzzing around. And so they also need to work from a laptop and sometimes mobile. And because of that, it was easiest for us to create a web-based app, essentially a website, to get this off the ground. Over time, we've matured a lot, and we're finally at that stage where we're ready to make what people have been asking, are we ever going to have a real app? Can I go to the App Store and download something? And so just like the pay evolution, we've had a lot of growth in our app as well. And maybe Chitra and a few others that I see in those early days and 400, 300 assignments remember all of these stages. If you can believe it, at the very beginning, what you see on the screen was our first BrightBee app. You got the site name, you got the address, and the date and the time. I don't even remember if you got to know what role you were doing. If you were lucky that they put it in the description, you might have found out. But RBs, thank you for saying yes to the mystery grab bag of the assignment and getting a happy surprise at what you were doing that day. We have grown a lot since then. What you see now is kind of multiple iterations of our web-based app, most notably with multi-day assignments for consistency. I can't tell you how many times Brennan and I behind the scenes made sure the same bee got the same assignment Monday through Friday so that they could return again and again. Bee specific requests is probably one of the greatest things that came out of this year. We kept getting requests by name, and it was almost cluttering the assignment list because the school had already told us we don't want anybody but Brennan. And so, how do we say no when 5 other people but Brennan claim that assignment? And so, that functionality was a huge win. Many of our hives now see the availability survey in the app instead of the Google form that we were sending out every Sunday. And all of those things led up to a big milestone, technologically wise, which was in March when we had our very first automated approval. Michael showed you the graph of all of the assignments. I would estimate that 35,000 plus of those were manually a human, those faces you saw on the screen, seeing a claim, double checking that you had your transcripts, your contractor agreement, your paraprofessional permit, and then going, okay, I can press approve. We have matured a lot, and now because our qualifications system is in the app, which is why we ask for those permits to be on file, when you put in a claim, our app is now checking all of the things you're qualified for, all of the requirements for that assignment, and if it's a match, then it can approve that without a human ever having to look at it, which is why for many of you that have been on the experience end of an automated approval, you'll see that you might have claimed it at 11 p.m. at night outside of our windows, and at 11:01 you got an approval notice. That is a huge win, and we're excited to make that happen going forward. And so, as a still newish startup, couple years in, there's a lot of features that we would love to have as we mature. But it takes an intentional process to say what has the most impact at this time. And so I wanted to give you a little window into how features get updated. We hear it all the time. We start kind of like a design thinking process where it really starts with our core value of empathy. Usually Brennan and Lisa and the bee support team hear it firsthand from our bees or our school admin. There's a bug, or why doesn't this work? Or it'd be really cool if. And that conversation makes its way into our product meeting where we start defining the issues and ideating different solutions and also prioritizing each month what would have the most impact now versus what might be able to save for later, thinking about all of those users and how many people it might positively affect if we release this new feature. And then it moves to our product team who takes these tickets, and I would say a ticket is almost like a prescription or an order for a restaurant where they type out exactly the specifications that we want. Our team builds it in the code base, and then we go through testing. And usually it comes back to myself or someone on the operations team for one last look to make sure that it is ready and bee friendly before we announce it in our next monthly buzz. And so if this video works, we have a 3-minute video of a conversation that I had with one of our product teammates, software engineer Esteban, who is based out of Argentina. And just because videos kind of jump around pretty quickly, I just wanted to preview for you what we are going to talk about. First, I asked him, what does the mobile native app unlock that a web-based app couldn't do? And just to clarify again, mobile native means you can go to the App Store and you can download it. It'll be for mobile devices versus our web-based app as currently can be opened on a phone, a tablet, or a computer. It's more like a website. Next, kind of like the image you're seeing on the screen, you're going to see how the product team builds out different features, such as the availability survey, taking it from maybe a web-based, laptop-based format, and how to make it so that it is mobile-friendly. And then we talk a little bit about code architecture and how it's like building a house. You want to make sure that you're building it in a way that it's scalable and not going to break old things, and not also going to design it so that you can't build like another floor on top of it as you get bigger and you grow into it. And so this is our video, and let's see if the sound works. And there's some captions here because it goes a little bit fast.
So yeah.
What do you envision that mobile native app will allow or unlock capabilities that were not accessible on a web-based app?
Yeah, well, it's going to give a lot of more reliability when it comes to some new features that we are planning, like the geofence check in and check out. You know, we can more easily access to the device location. So that's one of the things that are going to be easier. Also push notifications. That's going to be a lot more reliable and probably easier for the bees, to actually see what are the news with the status on their claims and different things. So yeah, this design, then we pretty much had to manually translate it into the code, and the code then becomes this. For example, here, what you see here, this is what we call a component. This is the week selector. That is what
that banner,
at the top there. Yeah, then we have the weekday selector below, and all the different parts.
Wow. And so when you all are designing, like you said, for scalability, it's every time we create something new that we haven't even thought of yet, that we don't break the old.
Yeah. We have to be ready for, product changing mind and thinking new ideas and new features. We have to make sure that the code architecture will scale in a way that features don't conflict with each other. So it's like, it's like building a house, block by block. It's similar.
I can say from an observer for the last 2.5 years, the needs have changed. And so even our own assumptions about what the product needs to do, the game's changed. Schools now need this, bees now want this, and so much of that has informed the direction we go. And it's like designing a hypothetical future, and then you hit a wall and go, okay, that doesn't work anymore. How do I design the next floor? And so I thank you for all of the problem solving to get there.
Sure. It's really a pleasure, because I've been learning a lot, and this is what I really love doing. I really enjoy all this process. So for me, it's been a great learning experience. It's also very rewarding to see how complex and how much more the application does now.
Extremely.
So yeah.
What do you envision? There we go. And so just a quick recap of some of the most exciting things that are going to be coming in this mobile app launch is, because you are going to be using a mobile device, which has the feature for turning location services on while you're using the app, you'll be able to check in, and the phone will be able to know that you are on campus. So much of our checkout process and the issues with having to scan the QR code, or not having Wi-Fi, or waiting for an office manager to become free from talking to that parent so that they could scan your checkout, that will go away, because the location-based services will be able to see you were on campus when you checked in and on campus when you checked out. And so we're really excited for that feature. I know many of you have worked with our B support team to kind of retroactively make sure they knew you were on time. Like we also talked about, assignment filters were really important. That was a high request in our last Bee experience survey, being able to not just search chronologically, but be able to filter for role types, or by certain regions, or certain times of day. And the app will get progressively smarter with being able to filter those things. And like mentioned before, more automated approvals means you get affirmation or confirmation if that's going to be your role, so you can prepare and get ready or plan your schedule, and less waiting on our team to be online to be able to press approve. We do not yet have an exact date. It is currently in review with Apple to be able to be put in the App Store. And so once we have that information, we will share that in an upcoming monthly buzz. But our team anticipates that it will launch this summer, and our hope is to get it. It's been ready to go with this much time so that it could be ready for back to school. And then as I close before we go into Q&A, I just wanted to personally thank everybody who participated in any of our Hive Hangouts in person, online. Shout out to John in Detroit for joining almost every month for our Hive Hangouts and joining in our honey challenges, our Beaster egg hunt on the Hive Help Center, our photo contests. We've had a lot of fun, and even though we are all in a remote capacity, and you probably have more interaction at the school site than you may have with another bee sometimes. It really has helped us all feel connected, and we just want you to know that you are very greatly appreciated. We know you by name. We see your check-ins, we see your checkouts. It's fun to finally put faces and to names because we're all in it together, and we're very grateful for the community that has been built through BrightBee. And so that is going to kick us off for our Q&A time. We'll have about maybe 7 minutes or so for questions and answers. And how it's going to work is if you have a question, you can go a few ways. Easiest is to raise your virtual hand on Zoom. You'll find a little way to raise that. If not, put your camera on and just kind of flag us and we will call you that way. Or if you would prefer to just write your question in the chat, then one of our teammates will read it out for you. So questions, comments, shout outs, and we're going to try to keep this to general things, not so much personal or clearance related, since this is being recorded and shared with all of our other bees.
Alisha, I like that you said comments because comments and feedback is great too. I did just scan through the chat and I don't think we have any open questions from earlier. So,
Didn't see any either.
yep, just anything new someone has. I saw that one heart emoji reaction to not having to get verified on checkout. So I'm hoping everyone feels positive about that kind of change.
Okay, from Amy, we have a question. What new areas are you guys working on currently? Michael or Chris, maybe you want to share some of the furthest along new territories or hives?
Hives look like.
Yeah, I mentioned New Mexico. So we haven't signed the contract yet, but we are in contracting with Santa Fe Public Schools. I'm pretty excited about that one. We have a lot of promising conversations going in Georgia and Texas. Texas fewer, a little newer there. Am I forgetting somewhere, Chris? San Diego. San Diego.
San Diego.
So
Yeah.
for those of you fellow Southern Californians, that's another fairly far along conversation, although it's been moving a little slowly. But we have both a school district partner called Vista, which is just outside of San Diego, and then the YMCA of San Diego, which, fun fact, is the largest YMCA in the country by budget size.
Interesting.
And then what's the one I love to say, Michael, in California?
Oh, Menifee.
Menifee, right. Working on getting that one done.
Yeah, that'll be another pretty big one. We're going to the school board. So a lot of times with school districts, they have to go take our contract to the school board to approve it before they can sign it. So we're doing that with a district called Menifee. And Menifee is, if you know your LA, it's kind of like Inland Empire out towards Temecula. So east, like an hour or so east of LA. Yeah, in Georgia, it's all over the place. Savannah is one of the further along conversations. It's down the coast, really beautiful place. We've been there. A couple conversations in the Atlanta area as well. And so, yeah, but I would say those are a little earlier stage. But our team is out there, as Chris referenced, working on all these opportunities. Oh, I forgot, the one that I'm the most personally excited with is Hawaii. And Another little piece of trivia for you, there's only one school district for the entire state of Hawaii. And so they move so slow because they are essentially state government instead of local government. But we have met with them a bunch of times over the past now probably 8 months. We were hoping that we could get a contract pushed through in the spring to start in the fall. It looks like probably not. But that'll be an exciting one. And will be our first kind of state level contract. We've only worked with local governments and nonprofits so far.
And then there was a specific question about East Cleveland. I don't recall, y'all, one of my Achilles heels, the things I'm worst at is geography. So this is the hardest part of the job for me when we talk about the new hives.
Yeah.
I think there are one or two more in the East Cleveland area.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, looking at the chat, love seeing all these comments. Um, I think it's Darren, maybe, perhaps. We are working on getting summer. It looks like you're in Cleveland West. So you are in on the ground floor. We've launched within, I think, May. And so we're working to grab new assignments. Hopefully next summer we'll be a little more consistent. But regardless, you are one of the first bees and you will be the first to get opportunities, which is awesome. Loretta, can't wait for you to start. We're so excited. Please take your first assignment whenever you're ready. Laurent, you're in East Cleveland, so we have a variety currently. So we're in East Cleveland. We have Maple Heights, we have Orange City. There's more to come. And then their opportunities are continuing to grow every day. That's Cleveland is one of our greatest opportunities. And so we're continuing to sign new contracts and work with partners over there. Maria, let's see, when will the BrightBee assignments resume in August? Typically San Jose, Alicia, you can
I was
fact check
gonna
me, but
say, I
typically
don't
it's
know.
like the second or third week of August.
Yeah, by mid-August, usually most of the schools start. Sometimes we will see, I don't know if Rocket Ship or some of our main partners have their 26, 27 calendar up, but you can always check their
Yeah.
websites. That's usually where you can see if you go to the school website. But if you're not sure, typically that first week of school usually falls in the second or third week of August. And we see varying, sometimes we get assignments to help them get ready for those classrooms and operations. And then other times we wait and see those assignments start to spike the first week of school as almost more as vacancies. They haven't filled all
Mhm.
those positions yet. And so we see some multi-day assignments in past years. And then
And
I saw, what
actually,
was that?
I was going to say this is a great example of how we get ideas for the app because we actually have been working on functionality that allows us to build partner calendars into the app for our own planning purposes. But it occurs to me it might be nice for you all to be able to see when
Mhm.
certain partners are coming back online for the year.
Yeah.
So I'll note that for some of our future app work.
And then I also saw a summer camp question. For some of you, you may know in the Bay Area, we tried a summer camp pilot for some of our San Jose school partners. And unfortunately, just yesterday, we decided to cancel that due to lower enrollment. And what we learned is not that bees didn't want to work. We had a lot of interest in staffing. We found that the school, not the school, the students and families have actually a lot of opportunities. And so they were kind of split or committed to a lot of different things. And so we just didn't get those numbers that we wanted to see to be able to go all in with a 4-week summer program. But that said, we do still work with summer partners. There might be some summer camp kind of opportunities through other programs, or if YMCA gives us a call, things like that. But like Brennan said, anything that we know is in the app, and anything we don't know, we'll find out when you do.
Yep. I saw some things about districts of San Jose. So we have dedicated California account reps who are working every day. They're interfacing with people, they're having meetings. You likely saw Think Together come through this year, which was a little bit new outside of Rocket Ship. We saw the YMCA last year. They're continuing to have really good conversations, and ultimately, we're just waiting on more schools to sign on the dotted line. Central Valley, California. I don't know geography, so I'll put a pin in that while Alicia thinks. And then Jasmine, we love you. We'll make it work. Yep. So it's all good.
Yeah, so Central Valley is going to be our Rainbow Chefs partners. And so I don't know if I don't have the updated status. I don't know if Chris or Brennan know more about Rainbow Chefs opportunities with Modesto and Stockton.
That I think is still up in the air, but we do have oh, Michael will have to help me. I think we have a KIP partner and some sites there, and we have seen an
Stockton.
uptick at the end of this year. And so we're working to really, understand their volume and see if we can make them a more consistent assignment poster in this upcoming year.
Awesome. And just since we do see we're kind of coming up on time and we're getting some regional questions,
Mhm.
how it usually works, like when we said West Cleveland was this launching of a hive, is what happens is when you are an inaugural bee that kind of kicks off a hive, that's how it starts, is like you give such great service to schools that they usually come and ask us for one thing. And before you know it, they go, oh, do you also do this? Do you also do this? Oh, I have a school friend over in the town next door. We think you'd be great. And so those referrals mean a lot. That is how we keep expanding and growing. And so if you know people that are at a district level or a board level or higher up administrators, not just I know the office, but I know there's a need here and here's someone who might be a decision maker, reach out to us because our team is always looking for some of those leads to be able to start expanding our hives, not just in new states, but growing within the hives we already have. Um, and with that, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to the Bee Support line by text or email, and we'll make sure to get those answered. Um, and as we close for today, just a reminder, we are anticipating a big back to school launch. And whenever we ask for referrals, it's not because we're trying to take over your job, it's because we anticipate that there's a higher need for more bees on site in a given day. And so right now we have some jobs hiring open through the summer, but we anticipate in June and July for more opportunities and more hives to kick up. And so we do have a referral program. If you refer a friend, make sure they put your first and last name so that it can be tracked for that referral. And once they complete their fifth assignment, both you and your friend each earn $100 honey. And because we're talking about hiring, this is a shout out from our recruiting team who does all the interviews. They want to know if you have our next best interview question. What do you know now as a bee that you wish, that would be such a great scenario, or that would be such a great question to really understand what high quality experience looks like. And so if you think you have that question, tomorrow is going to be when we send out the recording along with a feedback survey. It's optional. If you think you have a great question, put it in there, and the winning question that makes it in our next rounds of interviews will get $50 honey. And as we wrap up, I know we have some people that are just joining that have not had an assignment yet. If you are new, share which role or assignment type you are most excited for. If you are experienced, even if with one assignment, share your favorite site or your favorite assignment. We're going to flood the chat really quickly. So everybody type, even if you're kind of stepped away, come back to the chat and type something, because that's going to be who we are picking for our Amazon gift card winners. So take a moment, type the chat with your favorite site, your favorite assignment, or a role you are excited for. There we go. Thanks, Andy, for kicking it off. Keep it coming. Ooh, Art, Rocket Ship Alma. Youth group leader, awesome. Oh, we love seeing the different schools, high schools. Cleaner. After school YMCA. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Okay, and we have a pretty full chat. So, Chris, do you want to do a quick scroll and I'll write down throughout 3 names?
Yep. Let's see. We are going to do Laurence Gray, like from
Woo!
East Cleveland. And oh, that's a lot of me. Sapna, that's a hard last name. Ichitira.
Thank
And Lori Lagusi.
Okay,
Y'all,
so
I
Lauren,
apologize now for what I've done to your. I did my best.
Lauren, Sapna, and Lori, thank you all for being here, but I will send you an email. You're going to be getting a $25 Amazon gift card. So thank you for being here and sticking around to the end. As Brennan said, the app is a source of truth for all new assignments, so check the app. Other ways to stay connected is to review the Hive Help Center. That is where you can see not only tips for how to get started, be basics, but Thriving in the Hive talks about the different types of roles if you're thinking about upskilling or thinking about taking on some new certifications. And then our latest buzz is where we have our Hive Hangout recaps, the conversations we have, our monthly buzz updates. If you're brand new, you can see past episodes, past town halls. And I just want to spotlight, we get so many great quotes. I think this one might actually be from someone who's in the room today, but we love hearing things like this. This job is the best job I've ever had. I love the flexibility. I recommend it to all my family and friends, and I hope I get many more years. We will have another bee survey coming at the end of the month, and so that'll be a chance for you to have more shout outs, share the feedback on what those perks and privileges you would like to see unlocked as you become a specialist bee, a senior bee, and a super bee. I'm gonna have to get used to these new names. And just really appreciate you all taking time this afternoon and evening to join us. And for anybody watching the recording, thank you also for watching. Check your email. I will be sending out this recording along with the feedback survey this week. As Brennan mentioned, you will be getting a Dropbox email with the Independent Contractor Agreement to sign. And if you have any questions related to your clearance, as Jasmine or anybody in the chat was saying, what about this or that, just reach out to our team. And we are happy to have you all here and just very grateful. We would not be here without the amazing support that you all put into every day, from the last minute assignment claim to, oh, the app wasn't working exactly perfectly, or that was a really kind of hard class. I don't know if I could do that again. You come back again and again, and we appreciate it. Those moments don't go unnoticed. So thank you, thank you. Appreciate you all being here. And if you have any other questions, feel free to just reach out to us to the Bee Support line.
Thanks so much,
All
everyone.
right. Thank you all.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Alisha.